Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr Ombudsman, thank you very much for coming today. I think I have three questions. First of all, just on a technical point, on the figures on this report, I'd probably like you to differentiate what is other and what is not known on the bottom of this graph. It would be interesting to know exactly what those, to give examples. The other thing is about informing the citizens about this, about your work, and about the ability to put in a request for you to look at an issue. How successful do you think that is to actually communicate that to the citizens? I noticed the UK, my country, is fairly low on this list. Yeah, I can tell you from my mailbag as an MEP, the level of dissatisfaction with the EU and its institutions and its decisions is incredibly high, far higher than this graph. So what are you doing to increase the knowledge of that? Have you considered maybe utilising MEPs, giving specific training to all MEPs and giving them targets maybe? Be interesting for most of them to do some work for a change. And I was also quite interested to hear that you allow some more clarification of questions, which obviously will help. But my main question to you is about the budget and the opinion that comes out of the Budget Committee, because according to this report, you've said that there was 2,510 complaints in 2011, which only 698 were within your mandate. But the report here says, you know, that there's an increase in your budget, which is, I think, just under 10 million euros. Now, if you add that to actually how many complaints that were within your mandate, that works out as 14,100 euros per complaint, an increase of 3.89%. In times of austerity, is that an effective use of EU money? And there's also, I noticed that you obviously want to increase an additional post, an upgrading of 8 existing posts. Again, is this a good use of money at this time? I'd be very interested in your points on that. I think, you know, the European Union is the organisation that preaches austerity but can't learn from its own lessons.
Mrs. Sinclaire, thank you very much for your comments. I very much appreciate the frankness with which you put them forward to me. I'll take them in one by one. The category other in the table containing the lists of the countries geographically refers to two categories. One is the category of complaints that came from states that are not members of the European Union. And the second one refers to those complaints that came with no identification as to the provenance. So it is these two combined that add up to this figure of other. I must say to you that I reluctantly agree with you on the issue of the fact that the European Ombudsman is not sufficiently well known in the United Kingdom. You ask, what do I do? One thing that I've done over the years, I've maintained very intensive and extensive contact with the Parliamentary Commissioner for Administration and Health Services. And Mrs. Abraham was a spectacularly successful ombudsman in your country, who left behind a great legacy that will be very difficult to replicate, and I wish her successor, Dame Julie Mellor, all the best in doing so. I worked very closely with Anne Abraham. I visited the United Kingdom repeatedly. I persistently visit and take part in the British and Irish Ombudsman Association, which has now become the Ombudsman Association, which really represents the largest and most dense network of ombudsmen in the world. So I can tell you that both in terms of the number of visits, but also the intensity of these visits, I have paid a great deal of attention to your country. And I think, you know, we've been able to maintain the level of support there, particularly through the support also of the UK Ombudsman. I would have difficulty imagining, Mrs. Sinclair, how I could use the MEPs in promoting the knowledge of the Ombudsman in your country. It is not my role to be able to use the members of parliament to whom I'm accountable, but I'm of course entirely at your disposal and any other member's disposal from the United Kingdom should they wish in fact to make use of my services in order to acquaint the citizens of the United Kingdom about the Ombudsman, the European Ombudsman institution.